Hello friends, this is Rahul Magan here is a Group Chief Executive Officer Treasury Consulting and also a venture capitalist. Today, standing on 10th June 2019, we're going to shooting another interesting video on a topic which is known as Private Placement Program, Standby and the Guarantee Desk. Before shooting this video, I would like to let you know three things, very important. Number one, all the names which are used in this video, including the name of the banks, are only as an example. Plus, all the names which are used as a relationship manager, which is on that side of the basically column, it's only for the sake of example. The real life resemblance is just a coincidence, Treasury Consulting takes 100% indemnification that we have not intentfully mentioned anybody's name. Last but not the least, the way PPP desk performs is something which is from our side, and we are not here saying that any bank desk perform like that. Now let's start the video. As you very well understand that private placement program is a very vague topic for many people across the globe. And there are many people, those who are calling us and saying that is that real or is that fraud or is that a scam, whatever or not. I would like to start my video with three things. Number one, private placement program is a reality. It was a reality, it is a reality, and it would be a reality. Yes, when we talk about the reality, we need to understand that whatever trade you enter into, you always find lot of scamsters. And in these scamsters, now let me tell you a very simple story. You are dealing with a person who is having Gmail ID. How many minutes you need to create a Gmail ID? You are talking with a person who apparently do not have a DP on the WhatsApp but claims to be from this bank. Any suspicious? You are talking with a person who claims to be with the bank but he is not revealing all the details in the public domain. And more importantly, you are talking with a person whose office address, home address, phone number, official email ID, and not a single YouTube video on the public domain. But they claim to be in the private placement program. So fraudsters are everywhere, scamsters are everywhere. You have to see who is the scamster or not. How many people you know, those who coming in the public domain and talking about that topic? Most of the people are calling us and emailing us from a Gmail ID, and trust me that I think last week I got a mail, he is talking about 40 billion euro deal. 40 billion euro deal. He might be the one of the person who would be listening that video, and you won't trust that he wrote to me on a Gmail ID. From a Gmail ID. And he claims to be the CEO of a bank. I don't want to name the bank in the public domain. He claims to be CEO of one of the largest Dubai banks, but he is writing from Gmail ID. This is the first sign that he is a scamster. So let's start the video. So today we're going to talk about standby guarantee desk. Standby/guarantee desk means standby letter of credit, shortly known as guarantee. Although standby letter of credit is nothing but a guarantee in itself. Now we have these are the people, those who are the heavily users of the standby. Large corporates, ExxonMobil, Samsung, Reliance Industries Limited, I would say basically Reliance Industries Limited, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, the last petrochemical companies like PetroChina, Petrobras, the mobile companies like Petromobile, the China Mobile, and the big corporates. One is the mid-sized corporates. So example, you have small and medium-term corporates like you have few in Dubai, you have few in India, the steel companies, the telecom companies, the Vodafone, and all these kind of companies. Then you have corporates, the small size corporates like us, the people, those who are relatively small because we are new, slowly we are bringing up. Then you have hedge funds, PIMCO, BlackRock, Blackstone, GS, list is long. Then you have broker-dealer networks. There are almost, if I'm not wrong, 35 broker-dealer networks we have worldwide, those who are recognized. And those who are not recognized, I do not know. 35, I know those who are recognized broker-dealer network, and they are the heavily users of standby. Reason being, they have to indemnify themselves, and they use standby for indemnification purpose. Then you have the interbank trade. You know that Goldman is dealing with JP Morgan, JP Morgan dealing with Standard Chartered, Standard Chartered dealing with HSBC, HSBC with Deutsche. Each bank deals with each other. It's a kind of web, like a web of a spider. Each bank links with each other. You don't know. At the end of the day, every bank is dependent upon every bank. So they indemnify themselves, they protect themselves, they insure themselves from standby letter of credit. Last but not the least, broker crossing networks. These all are the investment banking platforms. Let me ask a question. I hope you know underwriting. Underwriting are of two types. Hard underwriting, soft underwriting. Soft underwriting is when you committed but there is nothing in writing. You will say, I will try my best. Hard underwriting, if it doesn't happen, I am going to buy this. Tell me one thing. In the hard underwriting, in eventualities like Facebook, Amazon, Alibaba, where the IPO size is $24 billion. Recent Uber, before Uber there was some Lyft. When the IPO size was very high, the company who is actually using an underwriter, assuming Goldman Sachs, Standard Chartered or any bank, they ask some guarantee. What would if you turn hostile? What would if you don't underwrite it? What would if you giving in writing that it's a hard underwriting, but you don't do that? Give me guarantee. Who will give the guarantee? Standby letter of credit. It's a shit that still people in the investment banking industry do not know that all the hard underwriting, especially the big ones like Lyft, Uber, valuation or no valuation, loss making game or profit making game, that's a different thing. Uber and all these, they are backed up by hardcore standby letter of credits. Now, there are two forms of letter of credits. One is a trade-based letter of credits, one is a non-trade-based letter of credits. Now, trade-based letter of credits are taken for the trade purpose, assuming ExxonMobil. ExxonMobil is the largest petrochemical company of the globe. And being the largest petrochemical company of the globe, they need the standby letter of credit oblique the guarantees to cover their import and export commitment. While there are people like broker crossing networks, are they importing oil? Is Goldman Sachs giving hard underwriting to Facebook? Is Goldman importing any oil? No. Selling any oil? No. It's an underwriting. So it's a non-trade based contract. The first myth which we have to remove from our mind immediately is that standby letter of credit cannot be issued for non-trade purpose. Absolutely wrong. Standby letter of credit is an instrument which can be used for non-trade purpose also, provided the bank have the money to lend you, or they can leave their balance sheet against you, plus you have the right resource with you who can speak or negotiate with bank in that favor. Now, both this trade based and non-trade based are divided into three parts. Sorry, my mistake, two parts. Revolving and non-revolving. And plus extension and rollover. I have already explained number of times in the multiple videos that revolving and extension and rollover is a different sentences with a different meaning. Revolving could be auto, it could be decided. Extension and rollover is a completely different thing. Before having standby letter of credit, it is the duty of the issuer, which is the bank, and is the duty of the receiver, which is generally a corporate and sometimes an individual, to carefully see is that standby having revolving facility, is that standby having extension facility, is that standby having rollover facility. A standby can either have revolving or rollover, but extension is different facility. Most of the time, issuer do not tell them, the receiver do not know it about. At the end of the day, generally which is known as the fresh cut. After the fresh cut period, people come and say, oh, I assume that it is auto revolve, but it is not. It's a bank mistake. Let's sue the bank. No, who are you to sue the bank? Who are you to sue the bank? When the bank was issuing this, did you read SWIFT document carefully? Do you have the capability to read the SWIFT document of SBLC carefully? If you do not, how can you sue the bank? You cannot sue the bank because bank has already issued that. And there is no revolving facility means there is no revolving facility. Forget, please. Now enjoy. When it comes to monetization, it is subject to factoring based monetization, forfeiting based monetization and the sharing based monetization. I repeat, factoring based, forfeiting based, sharing based. Similarly, non-trade based also have forfeiting, factoring and sharing. However, forfeiting, factoring and sharing, all three are divided into two parts each, which is 6 combination, 3 into 2. Recourse, non-recourse. I repeat, either it's a trade letter of credit, trade standby or non-trade standby. They divided into 3 parts each, which is forfeiting, factoring and sharing. These 3 divide into 2 parts each, which is recourse and non-recourse. I again say, it is not the duty of the bank to let you know that he is issuing which kind of facility. It is your duty to check with the bank, is that recourse, is that non-recourse, or what kind of facility it is, and the bombshell will come on the head of the receiver. I repeat, the bombshell will come on the head of the receiver once he get to know that this standby is not accepted in the SWIFT network, or it is accepted with the SWIFT network. SWIFT is Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transaction. I always tell them as an institution who control the money in the globe. No funding can happen between two banks if there is no SWIFT transfer. No funding, either it's a fraud case or not a fraud case. No funding cannot happen. But in most of the times when a person gets the standby, he do not have the knowledge, neither his financial consultant having the knowledge to let him or her know that this guarantee cannot be transacted into the SWIFT architecture. Once you get the standby, there is the mathematical way to check it out. That mathematical way is subject to consultancy, which we are not disclosing in the public domain. But we give a simple example. If today you come to me and say that I have 4 standbys, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Standard Chartered, UBS. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Standard Chartered, UBS. All 4 are issued by the top banks. No doubt about that. JP Morgan is a top bank, Goldman is a top bank, UBS is a top bank, Standard Chartered is a top bank. Okay, but does that mean that all standby are accepted in the SWIFT network? No guarantee. No guarantee. We need to see in the SWIFT, basically the SWIFT code which has been shared with us, empty, the message transfer, whether it is accepted or not. My first question before moving in the video, do we know that? Do we know that in every standby there is a provision whereby whether it is accepted in the SWIFT architecture or do not accept it in the SWIFT architecture, we need to check it. Do we know? Did our financial consultant told us? Ask your financial consultant. Why I am saying so? Because we have a SWIFT architecture, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Transaction. All the big banks of the globe, Goldman, Standard Chartered, JP Morgan, UBS, Barclays, HSBC, Bank of America, ANZ, Westpac, BNP Paribas and what not. At least top 30-40 banks of the globe, they are actually the owners of that. Not officially, but they are the ones, those who more or less control that. And they are regularly doing the buying and selling of the standby in the SWIFT architecture, which you mentioned here, few names which you mentioned here. They are the ones, those who continuously do the buying and selling. There are a lot of people coming to me and saying that I have given you the JP Morgan Chase SBLC, but you cannot monetize. How can I monetize? Did you read the covenants? Is that my mistake? You yourself do not know that it is not accepted in the Swift architecture. Is this also my mistake? Now you coming to me and saying that you cannot get this monetized. How can I? You give me a gun, but no bullets, and then you are asking me that how can you cannot save me? How can I save you? This gun do not have any bullets. Simple. But do we really know that standby is subject to Swift acceptability? We do not know, because we decided one thing. We definitely do not want it to know anything else in this globe. We never open the books and see something different. We only know what people are telling us. That simple as that. After that, there is a role of tripartite comes into picture when it comes to the monetization. In most of the monetization agreements, the biggest mistake people do, they don't have tripartite into the picture. Since they do not have tripartite into the picture, lot of scams happen. Recently, there is a scam which has happened in Singapore, and this tantamount to 33 million Sing dollars, which in Indian rupee tantamount to 165 crores. 165 crores. I might be wrong, but according to me, this is the largest tripartite repo scandal I have ever faced in my career. In my career, I have never seen that tripartite repo scandal happens out with a tantamount to 33 million Sing dollars, in Indian rupee parlance 165 crores, and that too in one of the governed economies of the globe, which is Singapore. But still, this is the reality now. Now, in this, if we look at this case holistically, we will get to know the mistake has done from the corporate angle. I'm not indemnifying the lawyer. The mistake originally done from the corporate angle, and they not gave the right appropriate rights to the tripartite repo, or in this whole situation they not, I would say, exercise the role of the tripartite repo. At the end they failed. They got a scandal. So we need a very right important role of the tripartite repo, but need not to worry about. Treasury Consulting is coming up with a tripartite repo desk, which is peer-to-peer repo desk, and that desk would be ready by December, maybe by next year, and with this your all problems would be go away. When everything would happen, you will contact with one person in the parlance of PPP programs, whose actually name is investment managers. The name which I have mentioned is only a coincidence, only for the sake of example. The resemblance is mere a coincidence. Now, before moving further, example: Robin, Snehal, Melvin, Dan, Nitish, Stella, Ranko, Rohit. These investment managers are actually having thousands of sub-agents. Like if you come to me and say that how many people I know in the PPP, many people I know in the PPP. But am I an agent for these people? No, I'm not an agent for these people. Definitely not. But there are people, those who always act as an agent for this person, Mr. Rohit. Just an example. Snehal, Melvin. And they claim in the industry that they are direct to a platform. Absolutely wrong. They are not. They are not. Because every right investment manager is having a license, and that is known as IM license. And that license you cannot get on the road. You need to apply for that. And that central bank, that local central bank, for example, if you apply to Monetary Authority of Singapore, you apply to Hong Kong Monetary Authority, you apply to FINRA, Federal Reserve, ECB, or whatever different respective central banks, they will give you the license. The first mistake people do, they do not ask these people, where is your IM license? And in most of the cases, these sub-agents, which I mentioned in the dots, these sub-agents claim that they are investment managers, and we even do not know that there is an IM license, which is investment manager license, that is specifically designed by the law. If you're going to ask, if anybody come and say that I'm an investment manager. After that, if you cross this line of hurdle, and this line of hurdle is crossed by 1% of the people, 90% of the people not been able to cross this kind of hurdle because of the following mistakes. Number one, they do not know whether it is revolving or not, extension and rollover. Most of the time, your so-called guarantee do not accept it in the SWIFT network, game is over. And if accepted in the SWIFT network, you do the mistake while monetization, you do not involve the tripartite repo, most of the game is over. And even if, assuming 1% of the case come here, they end up something which is the most difficult problem of the globe, is that different platforms of the globe are working in a different way. Example, some are small time proprietary trading funds, some are large time proprietary trading funds, some are high frequency traders, some are non-registered small trading desk, some are non-registered large trading desk. When I refer to the prop trading, I refer as a registered, right? Because prop trading desks are generally registered either by the bank or maybe by themselves, right? Then you have algo traders, thematic funds, offshore arbitrage funds, like we are setting up our offshore arbitrage fund, but that would be registered, not to worry. Then sometimes we have these people, they come into the picture, which is future commission merchants. And they makes the thing complete messier. Very difficult to get to know that are they real or they not real, we do not know. This is the whole world of PPP works out. In this whole world, you need to have a very good functional knowledge in place. Without having the right functional knowledge, if you're thinking that you would be able to get the value out of it, then it is very difficult. Once you get the standby or you get the guarantee, you need to see, you need to read the SWIFT copy, which is known as MT, the message transfer, very carefully. And the biggest mistake people do, they do not read this message transfer carefully, and at the end they lose several $1 million of guarantees, and they get the hard rock on their head that it is not subject to monetization because this is not accepted in the SWIFT architecture. I hereby thank you very much for listening to this video, but with one question. One question. Only one. If someone comes to you, say that I can provide you the standby with the so-called fake numbers like 38 plus 2, 48 plus 2 and all these fake things, just ask him one question. Only one question. And that question is the standby which you are providing to me, which is 38 plus 2, 48 plus 2, whatever all these nonsense, is that accepted in SWIFT architecture or not? And that you have to prove in the SWIFT transfer. I hope everyone can ask one question from the so-called people, those who claim that they can arrange SPLC at 38 plus 2, 48 plus 2, whatever. With this, I would like to thank you very much. You know my mobile number 919899242978. You know our fixed income platform and our PPP desk, www.fixedincome.global. With this, we thank you very much. If you think you are a person of credentials, you are a person who wanted to challenge the status quo, you are the person who wanted to do something different in the life, come and join our WhatsApp group, but it is only subject to invitation. With this, we thank you very much and we hope we see you soon. And this is the 53rd video only on the PPP, and with this we are 3 away from 750, and hopefully by end of the June, Treasury Consulting would very closer to the golden target of 800. With this, we thank you very much and see you soon. Have a good time ahead. Thank you.